Good evening.
Hello everybody.
Hello everyone. Welcome back, although we were the ones who were away. But welcome to Sunday Night Satsang with myself, John Homewood, and
Michelle.
We've been away for a couple of weeks. We went to a different part of the country. It's a beautiful part of the country near the Drakensberg to do our annual retreat there, the Buddhist Retreat Center. Well, our annual retreat that we do there. We do other retreats as well. So welcome back, welcome. And if you're joining us for the first time, please subscribe to our channel and press the like and share buttons if you enjoy what we have to share tonight. And if you could just let us know where you're watching from, we like to know who we're speaking to. Sure. And if you have any questions or comments, please type them up as we go. And we love getting the hearts, so thank you for that. Yeah, so tonight we're going to be looking at the topic or focusing on being of service. I know that a lot of us in this level of consciousness look to be of service to the world, but what does that actually mean, being of service? We'll be looking at that. We're going to start out with a centering meditation to bring us into alignment with the most important power that there is, the power of presence. And then after that, Michelle will give us a short, quick Astro update. So gently settle back, close your eyes. You don't have to close your eyes. You can do this open-eyed meditation if you wish. But just withdraw your mind and your attention from the outside world and bring it into the inner world. Just withdraw your mind from all other times and all other places. And just be here now. Such a simple request to be here now. And yet, for the mind, for the personality, for the ego, it's one of the hardest things to do. But for your true self, your being, it's the easiest thing in the world, because being is presence. Being is one with presence. Presence and being are one. And our journey into awakening, our journey into transformation is in fact to step back into who and what we really, really, really are, which is eternal presence. So we can use these next few moments to practice what it's like to be whole, to be complete, to be who we really are. And one of the tools that we use is the tool and technique of breath awareness. The breath is always present. Breath is not past and not future. It's always here. So we use the breath to anchor our awareness back into reality, out of our stories and into the divine essence of life, which is here and now. So take a very deep breath in. Soft, beautiful breath in, and a long breath out, just releasing, letting go. Another beautiful, deep breath in, and that lovely surrender out breath, letting it go. Another very deep breath in, very, very deep breath in, taken with full conscious awareness, and then that long breath out. And the breathing out is an act of surrender, it's an act of trust, trusting that the next breath will be there, and then we take the next breath in and we allow life to breathe us. We hand over the breathing mechanism to this incredible intelligence called life. We surrender to life, and we allow life to look after the breath and the myriad of other metabolic processes that are taking place right now in the body. The technique of breath awareness, and there are many different ways of doing the breath, but the technique that we just shared, that very simple focus on the in-breath and then the long out-breath, you can use that anytime you feel distracted, feel stressed, feel worried, feel anxious. And that is enough to clear the mind, to come back into presence. And the more we practice breath awareness, the more peaceful we become in our lives. And what the world needs at this time is more peace. And that peace doesn't come from changing situations and circumstances outside of ourselves. It comes from us withdrawing our attention from the moving drama that is the world out there, and coming back into the sacred place of presence within. This universe is built holographically, and as we change one part of a hologram, we change the whole hologram. And we are that one part that we can change. And as we become more peaceful, more present, more calm, more connected to life, to each other, so that ripples out into the field and allows the whole world to drink of that peace, of that presence. Become aware of your physical body, where it's situated right now. Become aware of the chair that you're sitting on. Become aware of where your hands are resting. Become aware of where your feet are situated right now, what they're touching. This is a second portal into presence. It's called body awareness. Breathing awareness, body awareness, two very powerful portals into presence. So let's just become aware of the body. Let's become aware of the temperature of the air in the room on our cheeks. And notice who or what is aware of the temperature of the air on your cheeks. You notice that it's just awareness that's aware. It's got nothing to do with your name, your gender, your age, your race, your education, your achievements. It's just a quiet presence that's aware of the breath, of the chair, of your hands, and of the air on your cheeks. Just rest a moment in the awareness of awareness. This awareness doesn't have any size, doesn't have any age, doesn't have any gender or race. It's just awareness. Become aware now of everything you can hear. Another very powerful portal into presence. You might hear the faraway sound of traffic, or the whirl of a computer fan or fridge motor. Just become aware of this awareness that you are, that is listening. In order to truly listen, we have to be here. We can't be in yesterday or in tomorrow. To truly listen, we have to be alive and present. And this technique of listening awareness can help in so many ways to heal the world around us. Possibly there's too much talking and not enough listening in the world. So once again, let's be that change that we desire to see in the world. Because to truly listen, one has to be at peace. true listening is not strategizing what you're going to say or analyzing what you're hearing. It's just holding a space. For awareness to perceive directly what is coming in through the eardrums. Take another very deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just sink deeper into this present moment, here and now. Just using those portals into presence, the breath, body awareness. Listening. To bring you more and more into alignment with life, which is only ever here and now. And feel what it feels like to be present. This is an alignment with your true essence, your being. Feel what it feels like to truly be in the state of being. Just being here, now. The body responds by relaxing, by balancing the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. The heart slows down, blood pressure normalizes, digestion improves, and the repair mechanisms in the body get stimulated to switch on and carry out the necessary regeneration in the body. It's a beautiful space to be, His presence. Take another deep breath in and a very long, slow out breath. And when you're ready, you may softly, gently, in your own time, open your eyes and just see how you feel in this moment. You feel a bit more connected, a bit more alive. Just type up in the comments box and let us know how you're feeling right now.
That is nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to all those who joined when my eyes were closed. Good evening to you all.
Hello, Sharon. Nice to see you.
Yes. Hi.
Awesome.
Yeah, so what's not happening in the stars?
So we all survived the full moon?
Yeah, did we?
Yeah, I hope. It was a beautiful full moon. It was very fiery and interesting, beneficial energy, but it could have been big energy for quite a lot of people as well, especially communication-wise.
Oh, really? Okay, communication. Yeah.
Yeah, because the sun's moved into Gemini, and now it's followed by Jupiter and Venus. So there's a whole move into Gemini, and that's the axis of communication. So communication could be coming up for people.
And just remember, the most important part of communication is not so much speaking, but it's listening. It changes everything.
Yeah, and that really resonated when you opened there. You know, it's just to, in the next week, 2 weeks, focus on listening.
Yeah, and if you want to know more about the full moon that we've just had and the energy, then please, if you haven't already, watch Michelle's full moon update. It's available on this channel, on Journeys, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah, and the title is Being of Service, and we just experienced being in the opening meditation. Meditation, the word meditation, it's not too esoteric, it just means no mind. So what we did for a few minutes is we cleared the mind. It'll be interesting to note how you feel when the mind is cleared. When all the stories and all the gunk is cleared, how do you feel? You can type it up in the comments box and let us know how you feel after that. Sharon Ray says, wonderful. That's how she feels, yeah. And it's to realize that it's not the mother-in-law, it's not the government, it's not the weather, it's not your body, it's not what you've done or haven't done that creates the turmoil in life. It's our thoughts about all of that creates a turmoil. And it's good to take a holiday. And I know some people think holiday is something you do once a year when you go away. No. Holiday is something you do many times a day. You just sit, clear your mind using those little portals that we gave you, breath awareness, body awareness, and listening awareness. Just use those three. There are a few more we can give you, but those three are more than enough. And in clearing the mind, you take a mini holiday. So take a mini holiday throughout the day. I think that's a good idea.
I think it's like a mini holiday from the thoughts and the stories that we tell ourselves. Because I think we have a lot of stories going on all the time. And as John said, it's often not the thing that's happening. It's the story we're telling ourselves about the thing that's happening. And that's often a resistant story or a story full of drama, as opposed to just seeing the situation the way it is and bring ourselves back into that peaceful place. So you're actually delaminating your awareness from the story in your mind. And that's what's quite prevalent right now with the energies that are around. There's a lot of kind of mind activity. There's a lot going on. There's also a lot going on in the media, a lot going on in what we're receiving. And with us being on phones and internet all day long, we're being fed a lot of information all the time. So I think it's really crucial that we have breaks from that and that we just be more.
Yeah.
You know, just to have a little holiday from information burnout and from talking and from doing is really essential, because I feel that with everything that's going on our planet and everything that's going on energetically for everybody with this shift in consciousness, then we need to have recovery time, we need downtime, we need be time, as opposed to just doing. And I think service is an interesting one, because service suggests doing. And it's interesting that we say, when we say that somebody is in service, we often say they are being of service. They're not doing of service.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting that's the way it's described.
Yeah. And the interesting difference between the two is, one, doing generally is a function of the human identity, from the ego, from the personality, from the human doing. Where being is your true essence, it's that which never changes. And too much service is done in the service of the ego. And not enough is done in alignment with your true essence, which is being. And this transformation that we're going through is really shifting the doing from a work sort of mode, something that has to be done, to in fact the joy of life, the joy of being. That's the big difference. And I just want to comment there. Diane says, how does she feel? She feels like an empty vessel awaiting something new, and that's beautiful. Thank you, Diane. And what if, when we go into those little holidays called meditations, what if in that moment we become very empty? And what if that emptiness was seen not as a means to get anywhere or to achieve anything, but in fact as a destination? And just see what the difference is. When you treat meditation as something I need to do in order to get something, one maybe is missing the point of meditation. When one sees meditation, in other words, no mind, as my destination, everything changes. You can try that. When you're in a state of presence, make that your end destination. And you can say to yourself, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the isness of life, here and now. And see what a difference it makes to how you are perceiving life and the situations and circumstances of life. Just see if it makes any difference whatsoever.
Now, I think that point that you're making about the meditation is so valid, though, because so often when we go into what we see as, or what we've learned as meditation, we are waiting for something. We're waiting for a light, an image, a message, an answer, something. We are going in there with a reason for an outcome. And when we do that, we're basically missing the point a little bit, because it's not about the outcome. So meditation is just being present. It's being here and accepting whatever is here, even if that's nothing. So an empty vessel, beautiful. That's actually perfectly fine. There's nothing else to achieve or get. It's the destination.
Yeah, can you imagine living your whole life as an empty vessel? Just living, just this moment, complete and whole. And in that emptiness, when one surrenders completely to the value of that emptiness, in that nothingness, one finds the true depth of life. And in that one finds the fullness of life, in the emptiness. All truth is paradoxical. So it's to surrender and allow that emptiness just to be, not as a means to get full or get something, but just allow yourself to be that beingness, empty, in this moment. Just try it in your lives. We're not trying to create a new religion here or a new belief structure, not at all. But we're giving maybe opportunities for you to transform suffering into peace. And allowing the moment, this moment, to be our destination is a powerful, powerful tool in dropping the suffering. Try it. Just see if it works in your life, and then you can drop us a message or an email in the weeks to come and just let us know how that technique works for you. Just allowing this moment to be. Everything in the personality self, the egoic self, is always about getting somewhere else. It's always about finding yourself, not now in this moment, but at some future time. And what we are maybe shining the light on is that the true essence of who and what you are is already here. It's already complete. It's already whole. And when we call off the search and fully surrender to this moment, to the beingness, to the fullness of life now, everything changes. You stop reaching for your fulfillment, and you start living the true depth of life and being that you are, the beauty that you are in this moment.
And I think a lot of people think and feel, I know I did, that, yeah, but if there's no sort of striving to something else, then I'm just going to be this kind of bland nothingness. And I think that as you become closer and closer to the beingness, you are inhabiting your true self. You're accessing your true, unique, authentic you. That's the real you. So the more we can actually empty, what we're emptying, I believe, is we're emptying our preferences, our judgments, our resistances, our concerns, our thoughts about the past or the future, which are usually irrelevant and not useful. We're emptying ourselves of that so that we can actually fully inhabit this moment and find our rootedness in this moment. And in that is your absolute beauty and authenticity. And when we go back to service, what is the greatest service we can give to anybody? It's to allow somebody, possibly, one of them, is to allow somebody to just be exactly who they are. But when we think about the word service, we often align it with, I have to do something. I have to change something. Because this is wrong. So I'm seeing this person or this situation as lacking in some way that needs me to fix it. And that's for any of you carers out there, or therapists, or people who work with people on an ongoing basis. That's where you get the burnout from, because there's that feeling of I have to give, I'm always giving, and there's that's I think that's something that we can talk about, because is that what service is?
Yeah, and in that service, are you giving from your infinite self, or are you giving from your finite self? Just consider that for a moment. So when you give of your personality self, of your human self, of your egoic self. They're all things in time, and they're finite. And there is a danger in giving from that vessel that there's going to be burnout. There's going to be depletion. When you give from your being, and the topic for tonight is being of service, when you allow being to be your source, then you find your service is inexhaustible. The analogy that we quite often use is that of the sun. The sun doesn't do sunlight. It doesn't give us sunlight in a doing way, but it does radiate its essence into the universe. It does radiate its light into our solar system. And so if we shift our awareness from service is work, a doingness, to service is a radiance of my beingness, then there's no depletion. There's no sense of me involved, because in giving, quite often we can give from the platform of need. We're giving of our own need. And what do I mean by that? Well, we need to feel better about ourselves. And so therefore, if I give, I'm going to be worth more. And in a space group this month, it's self-value. And quite often our value, our self-worth, comes from what we do. It comes from, have we done good in the world? And what we're suggesting here is that is tainted with egoic identity. And that giving in itself is a very short-term reward, in that your reward in that giving is self-identity in that moment. You are either building yourself up through that giving, you are getting a greater sense of identity in that doingness, or you are looking for people outside of yourself to give you your sense of self-worth by thanking you for what you're doing, by admiring you for what you're doing, by valuing you through what you're doing. And I absolutely promise you, whether you thank the sun or not, whether you value the sun or not, the radiance from the sun is going to continue to be transmitted to this planet, to our lives, to give us the energy through the food, and enable the plants to grow, and provide us this human experience, whether we acknowledge the sun or not. The sun does not need anything from us. It radiates its light, its warmth to us. And when our doingness comes from that sense of, it's just who I am, it's just this radiance. There's no work involved, there's no self-identity involved, and there's no looking for outside gratitude or outside validation for me as the giver. In fact, the shift there is, I am not the giver. Not at all. The John, the human, isn't the giver. Life is giving through this particular vessel, but it's not me. It's not a sense of self invested in that givingness. I am what was that lovely poem? I'm a hole in the flute where the Christ breath blows. Beautiful. I'm just that vessel that's the same as the sun. The sun is a vessel. Yeah.
So it's very much that, as Diane mentioned, it's that when you're the open vessel, you can actually just be that channel of allowing whatever it is inside you to bubble up and flow out of you, as opposed to trying to do this and to do that and to fix that. It's a very different energy. And the other thing is, that occurred to me was, when you're talking, the sun doesn't lose anything by shining. It just shines because that's its essence. So if one of our purposes in the world, which it might be, I believe, is to shine our light. How are we shining our light? Are we trying to force our way? Are we trying to change other people's lives so we feel better? Are we trying to change our life so we feel better? Are we trying to, as John said, get gratification or appreciation because we don't feel valuable enough? Whereas if you really know who we are, and we know that we are that essence of light, then there's no emptying the cup, because the cup will always be full. So I think service is just, I think it's misunderstood, because it's often also termed, sort of said in the same sentence as service and sacrifice. So there's service and sacrifice. Where are we sacrificing ourselves? And if we're going from the human and we're giving, there's usually going to be resentment there at some point, or there's going to be burnout, or there's going to be something. That's when there's a sacrifice. But if you're giving from this true essence of who you really are, it's just your cup is always full. Because what actually does happen is it's a symbiotic, you shine and you get shined on.
Well, it's like opening the tap, isn't it? The tap, providing it's connected to a source, an abundant source. The tap isn't depleting itself by giving you water, or giving us water. And when we are connected to our source, then we cannot be depleted. And what is that source? What is the source of life? What is the source of life? It's being. Being is the source of life. In fact, it is life itself. Presence is our source. And one of the things you mentioned earlier, which I just want to go back to, and that is that a lot of service is done in the service of fixing the universe. And the universe can come right down to your neighborhood, it can come down to the people that you're with. Fixing the world, because the world is broken and it needs our service to fix it. And that's fine, one can look at the world that way. But I'm going to suggest that the more we focus on the brokenness of the world around us, needing us to fix it, we stay stuck. We stay stuck in time. We stay stuck in what we call the horizontal plane of experience. When we come into the vertical plane and we no longer give from our stuckness, we no longer give from our humanness, we now give from our divine self, our beingness, we start to see through the veil of misperception that the egoic eyes used to see. And we don't see the world as broken anymore. The sun doesn't shine on the earth because it wants to fix the earth. It shines because that's what it does. The apple tree doesn't give apples because it wants to fix the hungry. It just gives apples because that's what it does. And so when our service becomes an act of our beingness, we no longer see anything that needs fixing. We no longer see anyone as needing our service. So we don't give out of any sense of need, not from ourselves, and we don't perceive that need on the outside. We give because it's our joy to give. And this you mentioned earlier about carers, and there's many different archetypes, but the one archetype is of a carer. And a carer will generally give and give and give, but behind it all is a perception, a misperception, that if I give enough, then someone is going to give back to me. And I'm going to get my needs met one day when I'm recognized. And in that there's a falsehood. Because our needs are always met in every single moment of every day. Our needs are met. Not our wants, particularly not our mind's wants or our egoic wants, but our true soul needs are met every single second. So we don't need future to fulfill us. We don't need future to give us anything of any value. This moment is already the destination. And my giving in this moment is just an end point in this process of life. It doesn't need a future to validate my giving in this moment. I'm not investing in a future. I'm just giving because it's my joy. It's what shines through me in this moment. So we're not trying to fix the world in any way, and we're not looking for future to validate our giving. That is the being of service.
Yeah, I think also when we are, for example, let's just take the carer archetype, of which there are a lot of people who have that archetype. I speak to a lot of people and they say, so often I just give all the time. I've got nothing left for me. And that as an archetype or a label is something that we identify with. So if we identify with that, for example, I am a carer, I am a giver, I am a nurturer. There's nothing wrong with being a nurturer. There's nothing wrong with nurturing. But when we align ourselves with it, saying I am that, then we are that. Then we'd be doing that all the time, because if I wasn't doing that all the time, then who am I? Because my identity, my self-worth is attached to giving, to caring, to nurturing, for example. So now I can't actually have a moment where I'm not doing that, because then I'm not
worthy.
I'm not worthy. So it's just to see, are we aligned? Have we found identity in a particular role? And very often we do. So it's just to notice it, to say, yes, I would like to do this. Is this coming from just me bubbling my life force out because I want to and I can, like the sun? Or is it coming from this need to present myself in this way, or to fix this situation, or to align with who I believe that I am, which is the giver?
Yeah.
Because as soon as we align ourselves with something, then it's very difficult to delaminate from that. Because I am a this, therefore I must always do that. So there's nothing wrong with giving, there's nothing wrong with nurturing, there's nothing wrong with caring. It's beautiful. It's how we see it. Because if it's overdone, and if we're aligning our sense of self with it, then there's going to be, down the line somewhere, there's going to be an imbalance.
Yeah, and what you're saying there, it's a matter of who we know ourselves to be, or who we think we are. If we think we're this human doing, well, our service is going to be in alignment with that. It's going to be in alignment with doing, always doing, always doing. And if I'm not doing, then I have no worth and no value in the world. But when we start to know ourselves as being, then our service comes from that space of being. It comes from the infinite source of all of life. There's only one being, and we are an aspect of that one being. And that is rather like the body maybe has 50 trillion cells or whatever it is, and each cell is the body. We are a cell in the one being, and when our service comes from that level of abundance, then there is no depletion, and also there's no downside to the service. If we are serving and giving from a need within us, a need for, as I said, for recognition, a need to be a good person. I'm a good person, therefore a good person always serves. And if there is that sense of identity invested in the service, then there is going to be an element of toxicity in how we serve and what we do. There's going to be a downside in what we're doing. But when we give from the sense of being, when we give from our emptiness, from our being the channel for life to give through me into the world, then our reward in that moment is just joy, the joy of giving, the joy of serving. And there's no toxicity in joy, none whatsoever. And you'll be guided, we'll all be guided by a much higher level of intelligence than the little mind, than the egoic personality self, which sees a broken world. It sees a misperceived world. And quite often we get involved in projects and things that we perceive of from a human point of view as needing fixing, but ultimately we're actually creating more problems than we're solving in that. But when we give from our beingness, we are guided by life, we are lived by life, we are danced by life. And that dance is beautiful and beneficial for us, for the world that we meet, for all those that we meet around us, and for the greater cosmos in that moment.
Again, it sort of goes back to the sort of opening, isn't it? It's just opening. It's continued to open. And I'm so glad you brought that up with the open vessel, because it is actually that. It's just about how open can we be? How much of you can you just be without any kind of outcome, without any expectation? Can you just show up and shine your light, your unique light?
As a being.
As a being.
Yeah.
Yeah. Allow that just to shine through you. And It's an allowing it to shine through you. You can't force it out. You can't say, I'm going to shine my light out. I'm going to, damn it, shine my light. You can't. It's a radiance. So the more we are connected to our true beingness, which is all there all the time, we're the ones that tune in and out of it. So the more we connect to our true beingness, that just naturally radiates out like the apple tree apples. So John's out into the universe, or whatever it is. I'm Michelle's. So how can you just shine your light without trying to reach an outcome, without trying to fix something or someone?
Yeah.
And do you see that as valuable enough?
Yeah.
Because so often we get our value from what other people say when we give them and we do for them. And we've received that value from childhood. You know, you do well at school, you get rewarded. You do something well, people acknowledge you.
People love you.
They love you. They tell you that they love you. But what about if you're just being?
Yeah.
And in that being, you do.
Yeah.
But it's not the doing first.
Yeah. I like that Jacqueline says, shining your true nature. And I'm going to suggest that we can even shorten that a bit, because shining is our true nature. That's our true nature. Beingness shines. The human does. The human doing. So just to look at that, if any of your doing if any of your service comes from a sense of doingness, there's always going to be a price to pay. Because sometimes you do and sometimes you don't do. If you don't do, then you feel less than. You know, and people take quite pride in, you know, I'm the person who's just oppressed, who's not able to do anything. I don't have anything to give the world, so I don't do anything. And then I get an egoic identity as the one that's not worthy of anything. Again, that's another idea about ourselves, and that's based on not doing or not doing. They give us an egoic sense of self. But in your beingness, if you're being, whether you are doing or not in the beingness makes absolutely no difference. You know who you are. I am. That's it. Just I am. And in the I amness, we find infinite depth of being. I'll say that again. In the I amness, the I amness, we find the infinite depth of life itself. And when we give service from the infinite depth of life itself, then that life is eternal, that giving is eternal, and it doesn't have, I say, the connotations of the egoic need. There's no need in that, absolutely no need at all. So again, the title for tonight is Being of Service. So it's to allow our true essence, the I amness within me, to shine forth into the world. And in that, the service is profoundly different to when it is the personality or the ego in its doing this as a service. Yeah. We've shared some stuff tonight. Maybe some minds are busy there, agreeing or disagreeing with what we said.
Yeah, let us know what you feel about this.
So let's quieten the mind. Shall we do
after
that?
After the meditation.
Yeah, let us know.
All right.
And I said earlier, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so.
Yeah, then you'll get notified when we post.
Yeah.
Whatever we post. Good. So let's just settle in if you're not settled in already, or if you are, settle in more. Make yourself really comfy. Take a beautiful breath in. And then a long, slow breath out. Let's take a breath in for 4 counts. Hold for 2. And then breathe out for 6. All the way out. And let's try that again. Breathing in for 4. Hold for 2. And then breathe out through your mouth on the count of 6. All the way out. And just continue to do that at your own pace for a little bit, making the out breath longer than the in breath. It automatically brings you into this being state. It relaxes the mind, relaxes the parasympathetic nervous system, brings everything into more stillness. On each out breath, you're just releasing whatever you don't need, just in this moment. Leaning back into this place of beingness. There's no trying, there's no forcing. It's a leaning back, it's a surrendering, it's a letting go. Just with each breath, letting go a little bit more, softening a little more, dropping into your true nature, your true awareness, your true beingness. This infinite self. That is always right here. It's not outside of us. It's not in the future or the past. It's beneath the surface of the busy mind. This beingness is found in the stillness, in the quietude. Whenever we just drop into this place, we connect with the truth. We become these open vessels for our light to shine through. In these moments we clear patterns, clear conditioning, clear the blocks that prevent us from shining our true light. Just by coming back to this, opening to whatever arises in this moment. A thought comes in and we simply notice it. We don't attach to the thought. We don't make a story about the thought. We just notice it. And we bring ourselves in. Perhaps through the portal of the breath. Just focusing on the breath as it comes in and out. Noticing the sound of your breath. attentively, you might hear the sound of your own heart beating. If a sensation arises, or an emotion arises, we're exactly the same. We just look, we notice. We become the witness. We hold a gentle space for it. We open more and we allow it to flow through us without trying to fix it. In this open space, there are no expectations. This is it. Feel the relief in that. This is it. Soften into that. Allow your shoulders to drop. Sigh out. Allowing yourself to be fully present. Right here, right now. Opening your heart in gratitude for this moment. Gratitude for this breath that's flowing in and out of your body. Gratitude for the ground beneath you. The sky above you. The water that nurtures us. The sun that warms us. Gratitude for the people you have in your life. And most importantly, gratitude for this exact moment right now. This beautiful moment. Fully opening and dropping into just this moment. Bringing your focus back to the breath, over and over. Consciously softening and consciously opening to this moment. I pulled a card for us, and the card is I approve of myself unconditionally right now. Just let those words settle in. I approve of myself unconditionally right now. That means that whatever is going on in your life, whatever is going on inside you, you're opening to it. You're not resisting. You're loving this right now, whatever it is that's arising. During your day, if you feel yourself getting stuck in a story or a concern or a worry, just bring yourself back to these words. Take a deep breath in. And you repeat the words, I approve of myself unconditionally right now. Just a few more moments of peace and presentness. Allowing this peace to spread throughout your body. And to radiate out from you. Into this home or this place that you're in, to your community, your country, and the world, and beyond. Taking a deep breath in, and out. Another deep breath in, and out. Rub your hands together, maybe rub your fingers together. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. You can take that beautiful, wonderful, peaceful meditation into your sleep time. If it is sleep time for you, I know some of you in other parts of the world are not as late at night as we are. Yeah, that's right. Love you all. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
Share your peace, your presence, your beingness with the world more abundantly. Love you all. We look forward to catching up with you next week. God bless.
Good night.